Welcome back to New York Talk, episode 160. I'm your host, Elyse DeLucci. We are in June, people. June. Did you ever think, where did the year go? I don't even feel like there was a spring. Anyway, fact of the day. Do you know, in the United States, the average woman owns 19 pairs of shoes? 19 pairs of shoes. 15% of the women's population in the United States owns more than 30 pairs of shoes, okay? Let me tell you how many pairs of shoes this woman owns. 89, okay? I'm telling you, I spent my week last week trying to go through my shoes. I text Stephanie. I said, babe, what are you doing with the shoes? And she said, Elle, don't, my friends, they call me Elle sometimes. She said, Elle, don't even talk to me about that. I got a whole bag of shoes in the laundry room. I don't even know what to do with it. It's been there for 2 years. I said, at least you have a laundry room to store the shoes that you plan on keeping, giving away, whatever. I was reading this article, about organizing and, and I do this every year. And yes, I read the Marie Kondo book. We probably talked about it on the podcast. I think, back in the day, I told you about those expandable drawer organizers I bought for my bras and whatnot. By the way, didn't even try them yet, but I'm going to get back to you when I do. But, every time the seasons change, I want to do this whole thing. And and I read articles as if something new is going to come up, It's the same thing at Thanksgiving, you're looking up a turkey recipe. Don't you make the turkey every year? Well, why don't you write it down one year? But anyway, I said, you know what? I really, really am going to do it this year. I'm going to pull the trigger. I'm going to try to be a minimalist with the shoes. I don't need 89 pairs of shoes. The problem is I know the second one pair goes out, right? You're like, oh, where'd those silver shoes go? Where'd those silver heels go? I'm going to a party. I need to wear them. That's the problem. We know that's the problem. But the other problem is, I have a lot of shoes for, all the different things I do. I need my shoes for stand-up comedy. I need the shoes for exercising. I need shoes for going out. It's just an excuse. And then I have the audacity to go into TJ Maxx the other day, and I'm in the shoe section. It's a problem. It's a problem. So I bought on Amazon, and then this is it. And then it's my ex-husband used to say, you love to spend to save, which is true. But there's this brand. Let me tell you, it's called Kuject. Kuject, and they are shoe storage containers. They had 12,000 reviews, and for $40 you get 12 boxes, and they snap together. And what I liked about these boxes is the lid doesn't come off. They don't slide out the boxes. It has a little door that you open, and so for me, I wear a size 9, so I can fit in one box 4 pairs of moccasins. So I have these driving moccasins. I don't even ask me what kind of category that is, but it's a category. And they're, so they're bendy. The soles, they bend. So I can shove 3 pairs in there. And heels, if the heel is not a platform, I can get 2 to 3 pairs of heels in one of these boxes. So anyway, so I bought them. I like them. I did the Container Store shoe boxes, years ago with the top that comes off. That's a nightmare. You got to undo the stack to get the top off. Forget it. So I like these, but of course, you can't. First of all, if you order them, let me just warn you, you have to assemble. I didn't do it. Chris did it for me, thank God. I'm not good at assembling. I was never good at puzzles. My kids, I do puzzles. Well, Paul, actually, he's very into puzzles. He does puzzles with the girls. The girls, they're wonderful at putting things together, whatever. I don't think my mother ever did a puzzle with me, ever. I don't know how to put anything. Half of the brain is missing when it comes to constructing things. But anyway, sets and words and essays, I'm a champ. But, boxes, forget it. So anyway, the boxes, they get assembled, and I put one in the closet, and it's an inch. It's an inch deeper than the closet depth. So I had to like flip them the wrong way. So unfortunately, I'm not having them stacked in the closet where I can open the door, but whatever, like whatever. This is what it's like living in Manhattan. People are like, oh, I'm going to move to the city one day. Yeah, you want to move to the city? Know that this is what it's like. You can't even go on Amazon and buy $40 shoe boxes and put them in a closet, because guess what? Your closet's going to be too small. Okay, it's just, that's how it goes. But I donated a ton of shoes. I just had to throw them in, like the hefty bag. And I said, oh my God, throw them in the bag quick. Please hurry up, or I'm going to have, like garbage remorse. Next thing I know, I'm going to be going through the charity box in the basement. Like you just see my feet like diving in there. Like, give me those shoes back. I need clear heels. I don't need clear heels. I don't need them. I don't need them. Like, anyway. So speaking of kids and everything, I occasionally post photos with my kids, or sometimes I'll do videos with their voice in the background, whatever. When I post things on social media, if their voice is in the background, it's not like it's a staged thing. It's like they say something and I'll just turn my camera on. Or sometimes I'll say, oh, like, what did you just say? But I'll post the occasional picture or video. And I'm going to stop that. And it's like a big decision because, there's me, right? Like as Elyse as a person and the mom, and then there's like Elyse as like a brand, right, which is another thing, or a public personality. And I read something really disturbing on the New York Times website. Let me tell you about it. So it's on their Instagram. You could, but you'd have to like go back. It was from like a week ago. So there's this jewelry brand, right? And the jewelry brand and by the way, you really should find this article and like send it to everybody, So there's this jewelry brand and they market to children. And they sell like charm bracelets, like adorable stuff. And so the jewelry brand took out an ad on Instagram, and they selected who they want the ad to show to, the demographic, and they selected like little girls that like cheerleading and dance, and and the picture of the ad was a 5-year-old girl wearing a sparkly charm bracelet. And the jewelry store owner contacted the New York Times because they started getting responses back on their ads, but the responses were horrific. And some of the responses on their advertisements were from convicted sex offenders. So the New York Times, was like, what? So they did their own test, right? They took the exact same ad and they, the exact same photo of the little girl with the charm bracelet. They ran it, they did this test, and they, on Instagram, blah, blah, put the same, checked off the demographics, and they got the same response. And so the New York Times got 2 phone calls from convicted offenders, and they were offering to pay the child for lewd acts, and they were also professing their love to this child. And Instagram, I don't know the depths of like how Instagram's handling this or whatever, but for brands, they are using the platform to advertise, and if they're advertising obviously to minors, the fact that there's no restrictions against these people. I mean, how would you even do that? I mean, at the end of the day, it's not for us to figure out. At the end of the day, it's for me to just tell you, because whether you're a mom or you're an aunt or your uncle, whatever, it's scary. And the reality is, somebody said to me, like a friend, when I was talking to her about this, she was like, well, like, I don't understand why you'd have to feel so extreme about it. Because, what about like the Mariah Careys of the world? Kim Kardashians, they post pictures of the kids. I said, those people have security around them 24/7. They have cameras and bodyguards and and people like me don't. I mean, that's nothing that I can't say. I mean, look, sometimes there's security around. Sure. If you're performing at a certain venue, there's security. They lead you in the venue, they lead you out of the venue, the whole thing. But that's unusual for me at my stage in the game. And so I'm not saying that those bigger, these big celebs, big celebs, should post their children. There's a lot that don't. But, I think the fact that, like, the paparazzi get their kids, see their kids, they feel like, well, they'll just, like, put the pictures out there first, right? Instead of photos leaking. And they just, obviously have all of their security. So I just wanted to tell you that because, one, I'm a mom and that's part of my brand. But at the end of the day, I have to protect my kids. And I am upset about that. I'm not even upset. I'm like distraught about it. Not that I can't post. I'm distraught about this whole thing with I'm distraught about the effing creeps in the world. That's actually what I'm distraught about. But that's a whole thing. Anyway, speaking of kids, Keds, remember Keds? I wore Keds when I was little. Keds and Barbie had a collab. They have a collab. The cutest sneakers, honestly, $90. I didn't get a pair because, I'm downsizing. And, black and white Ked sneakers with like a pointy toe. They have like a gold sneaker with like I think it must be like a fake leather. Well, actually, I don't know if it's fake leather, but it's like a shiny gold sneaker. Love it. Love that. Love a Keds collab. What else? I made a roast chicken last night. That was so good. I read a recipe. I actually mentioned like a chicken the other day online. I don't know why, but because I was saying how I make it. Yes, you get so how I make the chicken. Let me tell you how I usually make it, and then what I did different. How I usually make it. I like to make a whole chicken. I don't know why. I just like to make it. I think I like it, and I use it to make chicken stock, whatever. So, obviously, I do the bird in cold water with salt, right, and I pat it dry. And I slather it with butter and salt and pepper and some paprika because I like that. It gives it like a nice like golden color. Doesn't change the taste or whatever. And sometimes I put like onions or whatever like in the cavity of the bird. I put 450, 20 minutes, and then I lower it 375 for about an hour. And they say, when I say about an hour, they say like it's 20 minutes per pound kind of thing. So I read this recipe, though, that if you take 2 whole lemons and you poke them, like put like 20 poke holes in the lemon, after you do the butter and all that stuff on the bird, take the lemons and put them in the cavity of the chicken. And it makes this aromatic, delicious lemony chicken, because I guess like the juice comes out of the lemons with the hole in it. I did it last night. Absolutely incredible. Also in the recipe it said put some garlic in the cavity, which I did too. Delicious. Delish. Totally recommend it. Love it. I'm sure if you put oregano in there, then all of a sudden it becomes, or on the top it becomes Greek chicken, I'm not doing the best with keto, to be honest. I have this thing written down. I didn't buy it. MCT oil. Apparently, like if you take a tiny little bit, like 1 teaspoon or 1 tablespoon a day, it like helps promote like your body getting back into ketosis, which is when your body uses, like ketones to burn fat as opposed to like carbs or sugar or something. But it's also like this MCT oil, it's also like a laxative. Like I don't need that in my life right now. Like I'm not. But I've been since I got back from Florida, I've been struggling a little bit with keto because when I was there, we went out to ice cream a lot of nights, and it's like I'm in the ice cream parlor, right, with the kids, and they're getting a cup of ice cream, and they're like, "Oh, Mommy, you getting ice cream?" I think like the first couple of nights I was like, "Nah," and then the third night I was like, "Yeah, you know what? Like I'm not gonna do this to myself. Like you only live once. Like I want to like enjoy the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna like suffer through. Like is not having ice cream suffering? No, of course not. But like let me like enjoy myself, live a little, right?" And of course, in my head, it's angel and devil. And, it's like, you work so hard for this, you're just going to throw it away on a cup of rocky road. But yes, I did. I threw it away. And then I threw it away the first night, and the second, and the third, because I have anxiety-induced compulsive eating. Anxiety-induced compulsive eating. What am I gonna, what? It's normal, right? It's a normal thing. It probably actually is trauma-induced compulsive eating, but that's another thing for another day. So, I'm trying to get back. I still haven't had a bowl of macaroni or a bowl of rice, but I did have like a couple of burritos. All right. It was a whole wheat wrap. And who said to me? One of my girlfriends, comedian, she's like, don't do this now, right in summer. Like, who just starts eating like a wrap or a burrito in the summer? After you did all this, from the winter, I said, it was 2 burritos, a couple of cups of ice cream. Whatever. Okay, so, hi, New York Magazine did the best soda stream, not soda streams, because technically that's a brand. They did the best at-home seltzer makers. Do you have the soda stream? I feel like you probably do. Everybody I know has the soda stream. I am one of the few people that hated the soda stream. I hated it. I just will tell you why. First of all, I felt like it was a bear on my counter. Is it a bear? Not really. It was thin and it's whatever, but in Manhattan, having a soda stream on your counter is like the equivalent of, I don't know, having half a toaster, and I wasn't doing that. I didn't like buying the bottles, the refillable CO2 things, whatever it is. I didn't like washing the soda stream bottles. I felt like they got stinky, and most importantly, I didn't like the amount of carbonation. It was like a low carbonated drink, and I'm somebody that loves a good bubble. And I wanted to love it. I really wanted to love it. And people are like, oh, you could put flavors in it. It's like, no, you know what? I'm on a budget like everybody else in this freaking world. And if there's one thing that I'm going to get to splurge on, it's going to be my seltzer. I mean, really? Come on. I love trying a new seltzer. When I go into a deli and I see that there's a seltzer that I haven't tried, I go nuts. Trying a seltzer for me is like the mom version of going into CVS and buying a lipstick. Remember back in the day, you'd go into CVS. Actually, you know what? Here's the throwback. Remember, if you're from Staten Island, back in the day, you'd go to the King Cullen Shopping Center and there'd be a save on, and you'd see a new Brucci lipstick and you'd buy it, and you were so excited, right? Maybe a Bonnie Bell lip smacker, whatever, right? That excitement is the same excitement that I have when I go into a deli and find a new seltzer flavor or seltzer brand that I never tried. I go nuts. My favorite brands, Hal's Seltzer. I love Hal's Mango. They have an obnoxious amount of bubbles. It's so obnoxious the second you open Hal's Seltzer, it just explodes all over the place. I love an exploding seltzer. Bubbly, I like bubbly. They sell it at Target a lot. Mango, I like that mango. I love Polar. People are like, Polar's the Coors Light of seltzers. Yeah, all right. So what's wrong with Coors Light? I like a little cool to the cores or whatever it is. I love a little Blue Mountains. I love Polar. I love Polar because I get it at Costco and they deliver. And LaCroix or LaCroix, first of all, your name upsets me. That's the first thing. Right out of the gate, I'm upset with the name. But I like their flavors, but then they started to get a little bougie, too bougie for me. They have I'm all about pamplemousse, but I'm not into limoncello or I don't know why. If I'm gonna drink limoncello, it better be able to take me out of my current state of mind. I don't want to have limoncello, on the couch and not have a little buzz. You know what I'm saying? And Waterloo. I like Waterloo brand seltzer. They have a grape flavor that at the first hit of the lip, it reminds me of a Welch's grape juice. Remember, not juice, Welch's grape soda. And I love that, but if I had it now, I'd go into sugar shock and I would die. So, Waterloo's number 5. But, the New York Mag, they did the best soda makers. Let me tell you what they are. Let me say, here's their findings. There's Arke was number 1, SodaStream number 2, My Soda is number 3, and Brayville Infizz number 4. And I'm not even going to bother reading you the prices, but they range from $75 to $300. Arke or Arc, SodaStream, My Soda, Brayville. These names, I can't even. Arke spelled with 2 A's. Like, why don't you just make it easy? Or are you trying to pick a 5-letter name because you want to have an easy URL? Like, what's going on here? Anyway, but I'm not doing it. I'm not. That is one thing I'm not rebuying. I'll rebuy the shoe boxes. I'm not rebuying a soda maker. No, absolutely not. And then, and then I have friends. Well, you complain about money all the time, Elyse. How could you complain about money, but you don't buy the SodaStream? You must spend like $300 a month in seltzers. I'm just like, yeah, okay. And you spend like $300 a month like at Forever 21. Whatever. Choices. Paris Hilton was in the news because it came out that when she had her babies via surrogate, she was wearing a prosthetic stomach. People were like, how could she do that? She had 2 babies like 10 or 11 months apart, a boy and a girl. People were like, how could she wear a prosthetic stomach? She wore it for I think a week. All right, whatever. What's the difference between a prosthetic stomach and stuffing your bra? Don't you remember growing up, getting your hands on a couple pairs of tube stocks and stuffing it? I mean, really? You want to know what it feels like. You want to know what it looks like. That's what she wanted. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, Paris. She talks about it in her new book, Paris, the Memoir. The book's coming out June 4th. People love to make a big deal out of nothing. She said in her book, here's the quote, I wanted to know what it felt like to be pregnant, so I bought a prosthetic stomach and wore it around the house for the day. I know that sounds crazy, but I wanted it to feel real, even in this small way. Feeling that weight in front of me, running my hands over it, envisioning a whole life just in front of us. Yeah, good for you. And you know what? When I was 13 stuffing my bra, I was like, I'm going to look slamming one day when I have boobies. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that, Paris. I think people are crazy, But you know what? She's the queen of PR. So maybe she's just, putting that out there. She wants the world to know she wore a prosthetic tummy. Whatever. Back in the day, there was this exhibit at the Liberty Science Center. I don't know if they still have it, but you can go there. And the Liberty Science Center is a science museum, kids museum in New Jersey. You were able to go there and try on a suit, and it would make you feel like you were 90 years old. And it was a really heavy suit. And it was just for kids, just to say, this is what your grandparents feel like or whatever kind of thing. All right, so there was a whole museum that had an exhibit wearing a suit. And you're wearing a belly. Anywho, moving on. Oh my God. Did you watch on Netflix Dancing with the Devil? It's called 7M, like the number 7M, Dancing with the Devil. It's about all the kids, not all, but how on TikTok and Instagram a lot of people do the dances. Cute, whatever. So who knew? But there was a talent agency. This is what the show's about. I'm not going to do spoiler alert. But only 3 episodes, so low commitment. Love that. I love it, except when you really want a big commitment. When you really want something to look forward to for a couple months, This isn't it. But anyway, so there's a talent agency called 7M, and they were recruiting these TikTok dancers with big giant followings. And the guy that ran the talent agency also was a pastor of a church that is a church/cult. And when I say /cult, it's because it was in the news as cult. I don't mean churches are cults. I'm just putting that out there. And it's just all about, the people that were in it and how it happened and how these dancers are on TikTok and doing their thing and trying to get recognized in the whole bit. And the parents are on it, and they focus on this one, 2 tracks, 2 stories. One girl's story in the church that's not a dancer, just her own story in the cult, and then there's a girl that's there who's not out, and and she's one of the dancers. And I didn't want to spoil it for myself, but during the show I looked her up and I was like, is she still around? Is she still dancing? And like, she's around, she's dancing, she's so cute, she's this gorgeous, like, I don't know, what is she, 27, 20? I mean, it's like the crazy, maybe she's 30. It's just the craziest thing. I don't know. And it kind of backs up like my thoughts about that jewelry story that I told you earlier. Like, you just never know, you know, like this management company, the 7M, they just reached out to these dancers, just, you know, in DM, and they said, hey, you know, oh, like you repped by my blah, blah, blah. And, you know, and that's how it happened. You just never know. You never know. Anyway, the cutest product, my product of the day is so cute. I totally loved it. Did you see on exhibit, I think it was in Roosevelt Island, it was the sculpture by Deb Cass. It was the Oi. It was a giant Oi. And then on the other side, it was Yo. And it was huge. If you didn't see, I mean, it was all over the place in the news or whatever if you're not in New York. But, like, if you don't know what I'm talking about, there was this huge, like, you know, Oi, like Oy vey. Like, you know, hot yellow, just, you know, lady did it. And, you know, you'd walk on one side, Oi, other side, Yo, whatever. Well, Deb Cass has it. There's a little snow globe with it. And you could buy it at the Weitzman Museum store. I don't know the website, but if you type in the Weitzman Museum store, of course, it popped up for me because, you know. And it's $78, not really cheap, to be honest. But it's, you know, it's a little piece of art, and it's so fun. And I thought it made a great gift. And if you have to buy somebody something for Hanukkah, like how cute is that? I have all, like, fun. Not I don't have a ton because, you know, because I could get hoarder status, and I, you know, I can't do that. I gotta, like, trim down. But I love that kind of stuff. I love, like, kitschy, fun things. When I walk by, they make me smile. I mean, I like also Rococo, so I have a little bit of a identity crisis going on in my house, but that's okay. By the way, one of the kids' friends' mothers came by my house, like, I don't know, a couple months ago, and she walked in, and she was like, oh, your house is so nice. And I was like, oh, thanks. And she goes, wow, you have so many different design styles in here. And I'm just like, yeah, you know, like, what do I, you know, like, and I don't, you know, what do I care? I don't really care. But that's a very Manhattan thing. Like, you know, like, oh, what design style? Like, are you keeping with a period? Like, why would I do that? I'm an eclectic woman. Like, what do you think? I'm gonna, like, you know, have a federal style apartment building and then just, like, go with a federal style interior? No. You know, it's like Rococo moldings, like wall-to-wall leopard carpeting, like Art Deco kitchen tiles, like peel and stick wallpaper, and, like, my plants from Kmart. What? Like, what? You know, come on. Anyway. Okay, short episode today. Quote of the day. Actually, before I go, let me tell you, I'm in Yonkers June 14th, 15th, and 16th. I'm doing 5 shows there, Yonkers, New York, at Yonkers Comedy Club. If you're in the area, come out. It'll be fun. I'm doing stand-up an hour. And then I'm going to be at St. Mark's Comedy Club on June 30th, Sunday show. I think it's like 6, 7 o'clock. St. Mark's Comedy Club is a tiny little, you know, club. It's, you know, kitschy and funky and offbeat, and it's not a big, huge venue, so I just want to put that out there for you. But it'll be fun, and it's always fun to walk down St. Mark's Place because that's just a great place. And if you come to that show, you know it's a great place to eat over there. My favorite, Veselka, one of my favorite Ukrainian diners, has been open forever. They have the best pierogies. They always make different pierogies, like, every day. So that's my recommendation there. Don't ask me what's in Yonkers. I heard Yonkers is like the home of the wedge sandwich. I said, what the hell is a wedge? Somebody said, oh, it's like a hero. I said, I didn't even know there was another name for that. How many names are we having for the hero? There's hoagies and grinders and subs. Now a wedge? Like, what? Anyway, so that's the thing. Yonkers, 14th, 15th, 16th. St. Mark's Comedy Club, New York City, June 30th. I am hoping more dates soon. Lots of fun, exciting stuff on the horizon. I can't talk about yet. I know I've been saying that to you for so long. You're like, she's a liar. She just keeps talking. I'm not. Just, you gotta wait and see. Anyway, Quote of the day, CEO of Dropbox. I used to interview a lot of CEOs when I was at my last job. I had this little side thing that I did for the organization, and I didn't interview him. But a lot of these CEOs gave a similar piece of advice. So when I read this, I was like, wow, I should use this as a quote. His name is Drew Houston, CEO of Dropbox. Don't worry about failure. You only have to be right once. Don't worry about failure. You only have to be right once. Listen, all it takes is one. All it takes is one idea to hit. That's it. That's how it goes, people. I'm Elyse DeLucci. This is New York Talk. Thank you for listening. Love to love you.